100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination.
My guess is that what they're going to do is they are going to play the race card, but they're going to do it in a very subtle way.
They say to themselves, okay, I have a choice between a truly inspirational speaker who has not done the kind of spade work.
And then that last frog is food for Latin.
There are a lot of Democrats, a huge number, who desperately want to win the White House, are not bigoted at all, not racist at all, but worry that a black can't get elected president, that America isn't, quote, ready for one. And the fact that he's won all of these primaries, well, those are primaries with liberals voting. When you get to mainstream America, Obama can't win, she'll say. And she'll say he's not electable, he's not ready to win, he's inexperienced. And what she's going to mean is he's black, and I'm white, and I can win and he can't. Wow. And it's going to be just like when Bill Clinton played the sister soldier card in 1992. Attacked her as a method of talking.
I want African Americans to feel that when I'm president, it's another Clinton presidency.
I think one of the great difficulties with democracy is that you seldom know enough about the people that you're voting for, and politics is so much a performance art that if you've got great public skills, you can dazzle people. I think the most gifted that I've seen in my lifetime is Bill Clinton. I think he's a genius in that regard, and I think he believes in absolutely nothing. He and everybody, to our enduring chagrin, talks so much about how the black community loves him, and I have always wondered, for God in heaven, what for? He plays the saxophone and he sings gospel.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from.
But he virtually destroyed the banana industry in the Caribbean, almost single-handedly.
I want African Americans to feel that when I'm president, it's another Clinton presidency.
Countries like St. Lucia that got 85% of their income from their banana exports, not to the United States, but to Europe, that because Chiquita Banana had given him a lot of money, he was willing to do their bidding, destroying the economies of these places. We had farmers in St. Vincent committing suicide because the Clinton administration had destroyed the livelihoods of these farmers.
I want African Americans to feel that when I'm president, it's another Clinton presidency.
But you see, we didn't know anything about it. And so I rather distrust hugely Senator Clinton. I think we've been exploited so many times by Democratic politicians. They can't get elected without us. But it seems that almost the day after the election, that's about it. They feel obliged to give out a few jobs. But that doesn't mean anything, and we have this tendency to get too pleased too easily.
And we're going to be doing everything we can to get this country to be on the side of them and people who are working hard and struggling so that they can have a better chance.
And you really have to follow issues because in politics you only get as much, sometimes less, but never more than you demand. And you never demand things about which you know nothing. And so if you don't follow these kinds of issues, You don't know what's being done to you.
I want African Americans to feel that when I'm president, it's another Clinton presidency.
Bill Clinton was sending back Haitian refugees who were fleeing a regime that was armed by the United States. He was welcoming Cubans to Florida because he needed the Florida electoral vote. But he was violating international law, sending Haitians back without examining to discern whether they were legitimate political refugees or not, meaning they were fleeing with a well-founded fear for their lives. And he knew many of them were being killed by FRAP and those killers in Haiti that had been armed by the United States.
I want African Americans to feel that when I'm president, it's another Clinton presidency.
But he did that. I went on a 28-day hunger strike to cause him to change, but he didn't change because he had found Christ. He changed because a public began to learn what he had been doing. These matters are larger than race. We're talking about being sensitive to the interest of humankind. And so I think we want a president who has a vigorous intellectual curiosity and an overarching decency and humanity.
The first black president, Clinton legacy of lynching update. By Mia T. It may be true that the law cannot make a man love me, but it can keep him from lynching me, and I think that's pretty important. Ironically, the logic of this pronouncement by Martin Luther King would, in short order, be refuted by the reality of his own lynching. King's hope was misplaced and his reasoning was circular. The resultant rule of law relied on by King presumed an adherence to the rule of law in the first instance. Adherence to the rule of law is not something normally associated with the Clintons. Moreover, racial and ethnic disrespect, intimidation, exploitation and hate have always been a fundamental Clinton tactic, and the reflexive use of the N-word and other racial and ethnic slurs, an essential element in the Clinton lexicon. When the first black president and his wife ran Arkansas, the NAACP sued them for intimidating black voters at the polls. Conversely, the Clintons' refinement of the DNC drag and drop is, arguably, one of the more insidious and repugnant applications of their special brand of race-hate politics. Calculating a black man's worth to be 5/3 of a vote is no less racist, and arguably more so, than calculating his worth to be 3/5 of a white man. The latter is demeaning, but the former is dehumanizing. But it is even worse. Listen to Randall Robinson in this video, read below about Rwanda. Only one conclusion is possible, a Clinton legacy of lynching. Bill Clinton felt their pain. Retrospectively, in 1998, on his grand apology tour of Africa, a whirlwind tour of whirlwind apologies for slavery, the Cold War, you name it, he touched down in Kigali and apologized for the Rwandan genocide, biting his lip, as is his wont. During the bloodbath, Clinton administration officials were specifically instructed not to use the word genocide, lest it provoke public pressure to do something. Documents made public last week confirmed that U.S. officials knew within the first few days that a final solution to eliminate all Tutsis was underway. Stein on America